Good morning. World will be 40% poorer with 4 degrees of warming. Economic forecasts have seriously underestimated how badly climate change will affect the world economy, according to a new study by Australian scientists. Although it is known that climate change will have a serious impact on weather conditions and our environment, economic forecasts have suggested only moderate impacts on global wealth. In the 2015 Paris Agreement, nearly 200 countries agreed to try to limit global temperature increase to 1.5 degrees of warming, which would require sharp reductions in carbon emissions. However, a standard forecast of the economic impact of climate change suggests that 2.7 degrees of warming is a more reasonable target, which leads economists to recommend much slower carbon reductions. In fact, 2.7 degrees is closer to the level that global warming is estimated to reach if countries continue to follow their current policies. However, according to the latest study, standard economic forecasts only look at how a country's economy is affected by local weather conditions, but because the world's economies are closely linked by trade, the negative impacts of weather in one country are likely to have negative impacts in other countries too. But scientists wanted to see how adding global weather conditions would affect forecasts of climate change's impact on the world's economy. They found that the economic forecast was much worse. In the worst scenario, in which the world warms by 4.4 degrees Celsius by the year 2100, global wealth would be reduced by 40%, not 11 as previously forecast. That's kind of scary, isn't it? The scientists say that to avoid too much damage to the world's economy, a target of 1.7 degrees of warming, similar to the Paris Agreement target, would be better to aim for than 2.7 degrees. It would be very hard to grow plants. 2.7, yeah, it's a serious problem, I think. Discussion. What are your thoughts on the findings of this study? Like I said, it's very serious. Do you find it concerning that climate change could reduce global wealth by 40% by the end of the century? Yeah, I mean, then I think it's true, too. Do you think world leaders will start taking climate change more seriously in the coming years? Yes, and nations should be. Yeah, has your country made any changes recently to any of its climate policies? I don't think so. How much do you know about your government's emissions targets? Nah, actually, no, I don't know. I don't trust our government anyways. Further discussion. How proactive would you say your country is in fighting climate change? Are the effects of climate change already being felt in any parts of your country? No, I don't think so. Have you taken any steps to reduce your carbon footprint? What concerns you most about climate change? Yeah, agriculture. It would be a very problematic that the plants cannot grow normally like it was before. We need to stop funding our own extinction. True. Unknown. What are your thoughts on this statement? Yes. Yeah, our extinction. Very scary.